Hello. This is the first ever episode of my season. I'm focusing on my Formula 1 2010 career. My name's Law, and there's my nice little logo there which I made. As you can see, I am driving the HRT, and as you could probably tell by my driving, I'm on the hardest difficulty mode, which is extreme, and I am not using any driving aids, and I'm also using a gamepad. So that leads to some quite erratic moments here. I think this one here, I basically jump on the power way too early and spin out, which is actually not the most common crash which you'll be having in this game. It will either be moments like that, where you hook a wheel over the curb, or I think we've got one coming up here in a moment, where I lose it under braking. This will be the one that will happen quite a lot. He'll carry too much speed and shift down the gears too quickly, and the back end will just come around on you. This is another one where I hook over the curb. I completely blame Barrichello for that one because he was in my way. Fully distracted me there. It's not at all my driving. You see here I somehow managed to use that gravel trap there, which I'm sure no one's ever used before. I challenge you to actually crash and end up in there without actually deliberately trying to do it. Again there, that's my favourite corner on the curb. And another one on turn 1. It's a little bit sunnier there. And this is my favourite turn, look. Way, there we go. But yeah, basically the idea of this is that I'm going to do an episode for each race which I do on my Formula 1 2010 career. Shock horror here actually, it's raining in Bahrain. Practice 2 it rained. I went out for a few laps and that happened, so I just skipped that session. I thought I don't need to have wet running at Bahrain because it's never going to rain in the race. And here's my favourite corner again. I messed up so many times, but as you can see I've messed up so many times, my recoveries have got a lot better. Nice little spin around there. This is quite a good one. You're quite a lot slower than Senna. Yeah, now I'm even slower because I'm in the gravel. It's quite annoying now. It's interesting, I could talk about the engineer. Some of the things they say are quite stupid. What I find quite a lot is if you're, say, 17th like I am at the moment, I'm a few seconds quicker than my teammate Senna, but if I'm on a bad lap, he will still tell me that Senna's much quicker than me and I need to take a look at his setup. I lost count of how many times he said that. And we're moving on to qualifying now. This is actually Q2 rather than Q3, because my Q3 lap was rubbish. I just stuck the prime tyres on and just basically did a lap, and that was it, because the most I needed really was 10. I ended up with 9th somehow, but all I needed was 10, because for the race I did not want to be starting on the option tyres, which are the green stripe ones there. Well, I'm sure if you're actually watching this video you know what options and primes are. The game explains it, and anyone who's ever followed F1 for more than 2 seconds will know what they are. So obviously the options, they're the better grip ones. They're sort of like short stint tyres, so you don't want to be using those when you're on heavy fuel in a HRT, because they will just burn up too quickly and you won't get the most out of them. So that's why I decided to show my Q2 lap, which is on the options. Just a little bit more exciting, and it's the only lap I actually managed to get under 2 minutes in my entire time playing this game on this track. That was many hours practice, a few races which I abandoned, but as you can see this lap actually comes together quite well, despite the mistake I made in turn 1, which was not too bad actually. I just lost the braking a bit, but all these turns I hook it up quite nicely, I think, anyway. I'm sure a lot of you will be able to post better examples of driving, but I am using the gamepad, and this isn't really about saying I'm the best driver in the world. As you can see, I started out with a video with a load of crashes, so this is really just about a little bit of fun for those of you who perhaps don't have the game. that you can see what it's like just to live with, see all the bugs, because there are quite a few bugs. It's quite disappointing that they've crept in there, but on the whole it's still a very good game. And considering the previous examples of Formula 1 games, this is definitely the best. So you can see that's my lap complete there. I get a 159.636, and then we're moving on to the race. Right, you can see that I've actually turned the names off above the AI cars because I couldn't see the start lights. Even seeing the start lights, my start was still quite bad. I'm not sure whether that's because I'm on the primes or whether I just cocked up the start, but either way it was quite bad. You see I tagged the Force India there, only a little bit, and I totally did not cause that accident. That was all his own fault, so I'm not taking the blame for that. The stewards can call me in if they want. I'll plead my case. I'll say I'm innocent. Basically, I got down to 11th there off the start, so I've lost a couple of places, but doing my best to make them up. Thankfully, the AI are quite bad on this turn look. As you see, they're just braking way too early, and that happens quite a lot. In the next episode in Australia, there's one section of turns where it is shocking. You can gain about a second a lap on the AI, which is quite disappointing because I was expecting to be battling around 20th position for a season rather than being up the front straight away in a rubbish car, because when I get in a McLaren or a Red Bull I just think you're going to win the championship easily, but we'll see when it comes to it. You see I'm battling the Force India Adrian Sutil. He's one of my favourite drivers, and I've just done him down the inside and taken out the bollard. Someone had to do it, so I might as well get it done on lap 1. If the game was realistic, that would probably like destroy my wing and get me completely wedged underneath my car and stuck in like the suspension. But you don't really need that level of realism unless you're one of those racing sim snobs where everything has to be perfect, has to be ultra simulation. But it's a bit of fun at the end of the day. It's a game, so the way I see it is it's better to have a bit of fun doing it. And right, this is end of the first lap now. I've recovered my position back up to 9th, and now I've got to work on closing down Rosberg. Let's talk a little bit about my first impressions of the game while you're watching that. I was disappointed that the AI are actually quite slow. Oh, there's Sebastian Vettel there. I wonder if he crashed into Mark Webber, or Jenson Button for that matter. Either way, he's probably crashed into someone. He'll probably be in floods of tears and crying to the media afterwards, or making crazy hand gestures at people. He seems to have been a bit hot-headed this season, but he's young, so he'll learn. And there's Nico Rosberg getting completely destroyed on the inside there. That was quite bad. He left the door open there. I would expect slightly better. Because now I've got Michael Schumacher in front of me. I don't think I'll catch him up, because the next corner coming up, you'll see I make a mistake where I just basically brake a bit too late and do the classic where I lock it up. But I have learnt though, if you start to lose the rear, a lot of you have noticed this. I've read it on the Live for Speed forums, which is big shout out to the Live for Speed guys, because we all love you. It's a proper racing simulation, so if you want to actually get an idea of what driving an F1 car might actually be like, go on there. But yeah, basically you just jam the brakes on. If your car starts sliding, jam the brakes on and it'll go back on the course. This is my pit stop, which I failed at. Front jack guy got run over a bit there. And you can see, thanks to that useful little clock, it cost me a hell of a lot of time, and it meant I had to wait for this Lotus, which cost me even more time. I probably would have been in for 5th or 6th if it wasn't for that. Instead, I come out with all these cars in front of me, and I shift into neutral for this turn for some reason, but quickly back into first when I realised. You see I've got the Renault in front of me there. I think that's Kubica. who in my opinion is actually the best driver on the grid. I think if he sticks with Renault and they get a decent car underneath him, he'll win the championship next season or season after, but he's faster than Lewis Hamilton in my opinion. But I dispatched of him quite easily, and I think that was Liuzzi I just got past again, and this is it Hulkenberg? I think it's Hulkenberg. No, it's Barrichello. I apologise, it's Rubens Barrichello. And I do him in my favourite position. You can see at the moment, this is mainly down to the fact that they're on worn prime tyres and I'm on nice fresh options with low fuel, which is my preferred setup. I'm not very good with heavy fuel. I need to be able to thrash the car to within an inch of its life, because that's just how I roll. So an old gangster there. That's how I roll, homie. But yeah, basically coming up on Della Rosa, who has now been demoted once again, unfortunately. I do like him, but if you follow Formula 1 you'll know that he has been replaced by Nick Heidfeld. So we've got yet another German on the grid. These Germans seem to be too good at this Formula 1 mark, slowly taking over, but yeah, he's now back to being the reserve driver slash test driver, which is probably the role he's best suited to at the moment now, because he doesn't seem to have the pace. Kobayashi has basically destroyed him this season, and Kobayashi definitely looks like one of the best youngest drivers on the grid at the moment, certainly the best of the new boys. He impressed quite massively on his debut at the Brazilian Grand Prix, and I have run wide like an idiot. That is basically down to me getting such a slipstream off of his car that my braking zone should have been earlier than usual. Instead I went to brake later than usual. As a bit of advice, oh wait, hang on, no, that was Barrichello giving me a little shunt there. That was very nice. He's taken lessons from his buddy Michael Schumacher in that respect. But yeah, what was I saying? I was basically, if you get a slipstream off of someone, you need to bear in mind the extra speed you're carrying into the corner and actually brake accordingly. Don't try and outbrake them. Just try and brake so that you make the corner and you should have an opportunity. You see, there we go again. My favourite corner. Passing Liuzzi again after my mistake. Now I'm gonna try and close down Pedro Della Rosa again. I think I'll fade out here in a minute because it takes me a couple of laps to get back up to him. There we go, fade out. And there we are, magically on his tail again on lap 13 or 15. And I get him in the exact same place. Puts up more of a fight, but I just run wide so that he can't get back underneath me in these turns here, because you can't really go side by side through there. And here we cut to Lewis Hamilton spun on the left hand side there, which got me 8th place. And Lewis Hamilton seems to have been doing quite a lot of crashing recently, but we'll forgive him. And here's the finish. Quite an eventful race, quite a fun one, and I got a nice position there, 2 achievements and a nice result for HRT. Got points in my first race, which is strange but quite enjoyable at the same time. Be sure to look out for the next episode, which is in Australia. See you later.